What's the ETA? Like now?
Like a minute and a second.
She's going to do a little intro.
Okay, we are back after some technical difficulties that seem to occur at a good time in the stream. So we're going to have an impromptu Q&A with Mark. Prepare for that now, and here is Mark.
You're good. Mark.
Hey guys, can everyone hear me? We good? Yes? No?
You're not yet on live. Keep going.
Just waiting for someone to acknowledge that, hey, yeah, you guys can hear me.
Sound good.
Okay, awesome. So this is an extra Q&A that was supposed to happen during the break because things were going so well. Then, of course, because we scheduled this, then things started not going so well. So look, we got 20 minutes, and I'll take questions about anything. I'll ignore the questions I don't want to answer. I'll make hopefully some good answers, maybe a few bad puns. And me and my co-host H2O, well, we're here for 20 minutes, so get started, guys. Trulin, is it possible to upgrade backer tiers? Yes, go into the store and you can do it. Just follow the instructions or wait until Tyler gives his store interview or store presentation. Let's see. The question about getting onto the internet more than Star Citizen. Sorry, I think it's R. Flynn. Kind of hard to see the name. It's all bright and greeny. Well, I think we're now getting on the internet quite a lot. We'll be getting on a lot more over the next year. Look, I promised you guys way back. Oh, that's a good question from Keller. I'm going to get to that one next. We told you that before the Kickstarter, during the Kickstarter, and after the Kickstarter, that we weren't going to do a lot of hype. Okay, been on that train before and had no interest in doing it again. And so we've been kind of low-keying this. Not this, the BSC, but low-keying the whole year. And so are we going to get on the internet a bit more? Probably. Are we going to try to flood the internet with all sorts of stuff? No, not likely. So Keller's question. This is a great one. What question would I ask myself? And this is the kind of question that a developer, could really give you a cheesy answer. Cheese is good to eat, and it's not good for these sorts of questions. So let me think for a moment and come up with a really tough question. Okay. So the question that I would have asked if I wanted to ask me a tough question is, quite frankly, what makes you think you can pull this off when, a lot of people considered Warhammer to be a bit disappointing? And I think, that's a pretty fair question. So let's just start with the scale of the game. This is not something that is trying to be something that it's not. We are focused on one thing, and that is making a great RVR game. Unlike, on the Warhammer, development side, I don't have a lot of other distractions. I mean, this is a small studio. As I said earlier about, my trip to the Middle East or other people we've spoken to in the last year, my focus is doing one thing and one thing only. And that is, again, to make a great game. Additional money would be great. Money from my friends in the Middle East, and I do consider them friends, that'd be great. But not if it comes at the expense of what I told you folks that we were going to do, which is try to make the best RVR game we could. 6 months ago, 4 months ago, 2 months ago, and the odd numbers in between, I told you guys, our backers, that we were having trouble getting programmers. I was, as always, very straightforward about it. And we were. And now we're not. You know, we hired 4 really good guys, and so you know that makes me more confident. What else makes me more confident is that you know, look, and this is just the key again and again. We're not trying to be something we're not. We are simply trying to make a great RVR game. I don't care about trying to get 1 million subs or 500,000 subs or 10 million subs. That's not my focus. It's not even something I dream about, quite frankly. And I think that's going to help as well. So, Keller, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to ask a really good question. So keep in mind, guys, that your questions are going to scroll a lot. So if I seem to skip around or miss some really good questions, it's because I did. Don't take it personally. Question from Vericon. Seems often in the shadow of Dark Age of Camelot. Do you feel this is a good thing or a bad thing? It's both. Look, when we decided to make this game, we knew that no matter what we did, if I called it anything else, it would still be in the shadow of Camelot. If I said it had nothing whatever to do with Camelot whatsoever, it would still be in the shadow of Camelot. It's good because it's allowed people to care about at least learning more about this game than they might have otherwise. It's bad because, look, at times people expect this game to be Dark Age of Camelot 2. And I've been so ridiculously straightforward that this is not Dark Age of Camelot 2. It can't be. It won't be. It will be different. It will look at games like Dark Age of Camelot, of course, but it'll also look at, you know, old MUDs. It will look at old pen and paper games. As I said, you know, all during the Kickstarter, you know, you got to learn from all the games that have gone before you. I mean, this is just the nature of game development. So, you know, that's really all I can say about that. What game that you created are you most proud of? Oh, thanks, Failbot. Failbot. The short answer would be Dark Age of Camelot. I mean, that's kind of easy. But at least with Dark Age of Camelot, it wasn't a big budget, but it was a budget. It was $2.5 million to make the game. The old Mythic team never had a budget like that. And if you look at Aliens Online, for example, that was a game we made for about 1/5 of that budget that I was awesomely proud of, as well as some other games that were just a lot of fun. So, you know, I think Dark Age was an awesome game. And I know will get some criticism for saying this, but I think Warhammer had a lot of awesomeness behind it as well. Yeah, there were issues. There's no question there were issues. But the team did such a good job, and, you know, I am so, and will always be proud of the work they did. What musical themes do we hope to have? Sorry, I can't read the name. Light green text, hard to see from a distance. I'm a big music fan, huge music buff, even bigger movie music buff. And so depending on how the fundraising continues to go and donations continue to go, I certainly would like to devote some of it to having a really kick-butt musical score and effects. I'm a big believer in the John Williams style of making music and attaching themes, you know, to characters and areas and all that. So are you keeping the working name Camelot Unchained? Well, that's something we are going to talk about. Okay, here's another one again. Sorry, light green text, hard to read. What's the most important development you've made since the campaign wrapped up? I think that's the networking code that Andrew and the team have been working on. We had a really good day on Friday, and you know, you're going to see more about this, not with the version we're streaming starting today, because that's an older version, but in the other versions that hopefully you'll see later. You know, this is really important. We couldn't go down the route that I've seen other games go down, and that is spending more money on, you know, the shiny, on art. You know, obviously not on quests. We were focusing on all the foundational stuff. There's a reason I chose foundational principles for my design, documents. That's what Andrew and the team have been doing with the code, all the foundational stuff. So I think the networking code, getting physics installed, PhysX installed, and doing the things we've been doing, that's the most that I am proud of. Let's see. Will there be public events or impromptu realm events? Thank you, Ethics, for that question. Do I think that there is a possibility that we could have something like that in RVR? If it fits. I mean, obviously, the whole public quest idea was kind of important to Warhammer. Would I like to see if we can do something interesting? Absolutely. Question from Ireland, a place I definitely want to get to. Hazens, will you have a European server, and will Alpha be 2014? Two questions, very easy to answer. European servers will be up to, hey, shocking, our European customers. I've said this during the Kickstarter, and we'll continue to say this. We're going to talk to you guys. Setting up a European server like we're doing locally here, well, not really locally, doing in the States through Amazon Web. Yeah, that's not hard. That's kind of easy. But we've heard from a lot of European players who say they don't want European servers because they like the advantage and disadvantage of time difference. So we'll talk to them. Honestly, I'm fine either way. I think there are certain advantages to have everyone on one server or one, group of servers. But I want to take our European players into account. Once again, promised you guys that during our Kickstarter, and I think, even the timing of these BSC days show that, we do care about our European players, since right now, most of you, if not all of you, are home for dinner and getting to see this stuff live. Zoo, which realm was your favorite and why is it Vikings? Look, you guys know I'll never talk about which is my favorite realm. I will say that I thought going into this game that Vikings was going to be the easiest realm for us to create. Will there be skill lines? Wow, stay tuned. Next 2 days, lots of good stuff. Will supply lines follow that? Sorry, predetermined paths? Or will players be able to cart their goods over any terrain? That's from Oz Mechana. That's also something that is kind of useful, necessary, and will be important to us. So that is something we will be talking about, not probably during the BSC, but it could happen. But the answer is yes, we need to do that. Just player-driven economy. Really, no single NPC from the game itself? No, it can't be 100% player-driven. Again, as I said during the Kickstarter, simply because players have to start with something. We don't want the new players to come in and have no money, no equipment, and can't go out into, RVR naked. So yes, there'll be some NPC stuff in the beginning. There has to be. But after that, it's player-driven, folks. That's what you wanted. Let's see. Any info on player looting, full, partial, none, from Griefo Smasher? Stay tuned for the progression update later this week. Joyous God, what is your target server size and population? If no target, what is your expected maximum? Great question. So, obviously, it's become sort of de rigueur,